So let me just go ahead and just give you a little idea. This is on my new phone, by the way, and so um, yeah, I'm not really liking what it's what it's doing. But anyway, I have been on the road, and I am so tired right now. I am. I know I look tired. I'm dragging. But I just wanted to update y'all on what's going on because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I've done a video. It doesn't seem like that long to me, but it definitely, apparently looking at my list of videos, it has been that long. So I am here in Sedona. I wanted to show you my room. I don't know if I can flip this around. The chat should be open, so please say hello, where you're calling from and all, watching from and all that. But I'm here in this great space here. You can see all my stuff. This is my road trip part. And there's my beautiful lava mobile out there. And I have a little private sitting area right there. And this is my room. Isn't it pretty? The red pillow's mine. You know, if it's red, it's mine. There's this great fireplace. They actually have a little fire going, which I think is interesting considering it was 90 degrees out here today. I guess they keep that on year round. And cool bathroom, jet spa bathroom, and a groovy shower. So anyway, this is my room where I'm staying tonight. And I just wanted to check in with y'all and see how this goes because, like I said, I'm on my new phone and I don't always like what it does. But I wanted to just give an update about where I am, what's going on, and let me hold this really quickly. Put this down because this has really been an incredible journey, and if you know anything about my life in the past few years, you know this has been really crazy. So let me see if I'm going to try and put this in the holder. So hold on. Did I do this? Woo! Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all don't need that. Okay, well, this has been a learning experience of don't do this. So, all right. So, hi. The chat room should be open, so please say hi. And Margilio, hello. How are you? So the road trip that I have just taken from Mississippi to California was very unexpected. And it was really out of the blue in order to save my music gear from where it was being stored by a friend in Los Angeles, East Los Angeles. And he basically said, if you want your music gear to keep it safe because of the wildfires, and they just had a 4.9 earthquake, he said, you might want to go ahead and come on out here. He's been holding it for me for 2 years since I had to leave Los Angeles after my car was stolen. And so it's just been really crazy. To say the least. I have missed my music, but I think you can see like I've got my keyboard. This is the first time I've seen my keyboard in over 2 years, and I've had this keyboard since 1998. So it's been quite the journey for me as a musician, as a singer, as a composer, to not have my keys. Everything that I've composed has been in my computer, in Finale program, which, you know, that's fine. I did that as an experiment back in 2009, so that I would get away from the kind of the default chord progressions that I like to go to, and so, but not being able to be at my keyboard just to practice this is actually the reason. Not having my keyboard is one of the reasons why I had to withdraw from my Berklee classes, my classes at Berklee's, because I couldn't do the work because some of the work you have to video yourself on the keys, or it's a, you know, when you're a composer and your degree is in music, you really need your instrument, right? Um, and so anyway, so going out to LA to get my stuff, it was really an impromptu thing. I wasn't planning on it. But I am so grateful that I had the money to be able to do it. And because this has been a very expensive trip. And thank you so much for the thumbs up. Whoever else is watching, please say hi in the chat room. I appreciate it. I really do. I really love seeing y'all and your little comments. So thank you, Marcilio. I do appreciate it very much. And when I can figure out how to turn the screen back around, I can't find the auto rotate. This is the first video with my new phone. So I hope this is not glitchy, but I'm in Sedona and the Wi-Fi here is very unsteady. So anyway, but the interesting thing though about going back to California, specifically Los Angeles, getting my music gear is because of how I left Los Angeles. I was devastated with having my car stolen in San Francisco. It was devastating because of the stuff they stole, the stuff that they ruined in my car, and then the fact that without my car, I could no longer go to music events. I could no longer go to workshops. In fact, I was in San Francisco because I was a guest speaker at an Intactivist international symposium. And so, you know, I could no longer be a guest speaker. I couldn't travel on my own, not the way I'm used to traveling. And so it kind of, I left Los Angeles kind of as very defeated. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so this trip has been about clearing karma in that way, you know, clearing the old experiences that have kind of haunted me for the past 2 or 3 years. For those of you who know my past, or the past 3 years, when I first went out to Los Angeles, I had a house sitting gig for 2 weeks, and then I didn't have a place to stay, so I lived in my car in Los Angeles. So I was homeless in Los Angeles, living in my car. It was very scary, but it's what I had to do at the time, or what I thought I had to do. Of course, I have free will. I could have just turned right around and gone back to Mississippi, but at the time, there really was nothing for me to do or achieve in Mississippi. I was a Broadway journalist. I covered Broadway theater in New York. And so going out, you know, but it was going to be winter, so I didn't want to run the risk of being homeless in New York or Boston, and because the idea of being homeless was very real, and it turned out to be real out in LA, mainly because I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody, but even knowing people in LA people will not just like let you stay on their couch. They will rent you the couch. They will rent you. They will rent you the doormat on the front door, the porch, but they will not just let you sleep on the doormat at the front door. But yeah, so it was very odd going back to Los Angeles, because as soon as I got I'm going into East LA, so I wasn't even going into the places where I would usually go for like all the Irish pubs, because I was going to a different Irish pub every night. You can see that on my Instagram, year from 2017. So how am I coping with that? I guess we're all dealing with old energies. Well, there are a lot of new energies coming in, like specifically right now, and it is to kick karma up and out, and it is to bring it up and out so you can purge the old. So it's no coincidence that this trip had to be done now. I had to close out that cycle with Los Angeles, and then in coming back from Los Angeles, I came to Tempe, which is where my divine masculine is. And last year in Tempe, I was in and out of Airbnbs for the month of March. And when there wasn't a place for me to stay, I was literally homeless on the park bench with my luggage in Tempe, Arizona last year until I could find a room to rent. And so, but hey, Marchilio, thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by and commenting. I appreciate it. I really do. So, so in going back to Tempe, which is where my masculine is, and hoping to see him, I did not, which is a real bummer because I rented a great Airbnb last night. But it's very odd to drive through these cities and see like all the street names and these memories of being in these cities. Great memories, not great memories, all of them kind of mishmashed together. And it really is about completion. And I have been getting the Oracle card completion numerous times recently, and the universe card from the Tarot. And the universe card is all about ending of cycles, a cycle, so that you can start a new cycle. And so, I try not to talk about my divine masculine too much. Because I really don't have his permission to talk about him. But there are some things I don't mind talking about because it affects me, and I'm a public person, and this is my life, and this is part of my soul mission. Being a sacred sex shaman is soul mission for me, to help people with healing sexual trauma, finding their path to sexual pleasure, and then the other part of my work as a sacred sex shaman in terms of healing trauma or preventing trauma is doing what I can to end circumcision. And he's very much in alignment with that as well. So, but it was very odd to be back in Tempe, to be back in Los Angeles. It was very odd. But the thing is, though, is that I was coming back to these cities on my terms. But I had to come back to kind of clear out these cycles, to clear out these, to complete these experiences that were devastating. I mean, being homeless is no fucking joke. When I hear people talk about the homeless like they're trash, I instantly get, defensive, because I know the truth about what it means to be homeless, what it's like to be homeless, and what I experienced is not as bad as what a lot of the homeless experience. And because at least like I was in my car when I was in LA and homeless. That's why losing my car, having my car stolen, was so devastating, because it was my protection. It was my fortress, so that I was not sleeping under the bushes outside McDonald's and Denny's. I was in my car, sleeping in my car outside McDonald's and Denny's. So it's been very, very emotional. And so having all of this going on right now with, Mars is retrograde. Oh, there have been a few times I've been like this, and not necessarily at people, but at myself and my journey and my spirit guides. And I'm really glad they love me anyway. Because some of this trip has been a pain in the ass. This trip out to LA this time, the second day of driving, I was run off the road by a semi. And thankfully my car was fine. I was fine. But just that idea that, I've come all this way to be run off the road, because I've had so many death dreams. If you've read my blog and my twin flame dreams, et cetera, I've had a number of death dreams. So I was not scared in the moment, because I have lived this so many times in my dreams, where I'm literally dying in other parallel lives to kind of concentrate my soul energy here. That will sound completely dumb if you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of ascension and awakening and whatever. But it's just been really hard to even to come out here. There have been things like yesterday when I left Tempe last year. the room I wound up renting, it was a very toxic situation. There was a lot of verbal abuse by one of the people in there. And so a friend of mine, or he was a friend at the time, he said, look, I'll help you get out of there. He said, my guides have told me to help you, and I will help you any way I can. He said, I have this extra room in my new condo, and you could stay there until February. This was June. So I was looking at, oh wow, I've got 6 months to figure out what the heck's going on. And for me, I was still thinking in, twin flame land. It's like, oh, well, 6 months, that's plenty of time for, me and my twin flame to, and I to kind of get on the same page with this thing. Wow, how naive was I? But anyway, so this was in June. Within the first week was fine, and then the second week he became very distant. And I know when timelines jumped, because, and I haven't really talked about this on my YouTube channel, but when you talk about jumping timelines, sometimes that's very intense. One of the experiences I had was when a city bus disappeared right in front of me. It was just gone. I will tell that tale in a video if anybody's interested in hearing about it. I won't waste your time right now, but that was something. But I knew we had jumped timelines. I knew we had jumped something important. And anyway, so in doing that, he accused me of doing black magic. And I was like, what? No, I've never done that. I'm a good witch. And but it didn't matter. When one of the things that had started happening, but right before I moved in with him, moved out of the toxic situation and into his condo with the extra room, is that I had started writing a book on sex magic. It just came so easily, writing about sex magic, what it is, the history of it, how to do it, gods and goddesses, and all that kind of stuff. I wrote 30 pages. I typed 30 pages the first day. The second day, I typed 14 pages, but my wrist really was hurting. The third day, I could only write 8 pages, and then the pain in my wrist was excruciating. And then that night, my wrist became so swollen. My wrist was puffy. My entire wrist was puffy like this, and I could not move my fingers. I could not move. It was just like my entire hand was immobilized. And so I say that only to say this. He kicked me out, basically. He said, I just feel black energy. He said, I feel black magic energy. And I'm like, I assure you it's not coming from me. But he said, well, I don't know where it's coming from, but it wasn't here until you got here, so you have to go. And I was just like, anyone who can read my energy knows that's not a part of me, right? So anyway, so I had this horribly sprained wrist, and I had to leave, and I had to leave Tempe. So I didn't leave Tempe on good terms last year. And so anyway, so coming back, I'm driving back from Kingman, Arizona. After I left Kingman, Arizona, what was it? Sunday, drove across California to Los Angeles, got my music gear, then drove to Riverside, California, where I had rented a room, but they don't take debit cards, they only take credit cards, and they charge a deposit. So there's no way I was going to be able to get the room. Actually paid for I'm like, I've got cash in my, my debit card. And anyway, so they said no. So then I tried finding a place to stay, a few other places. No good. It wasn't going to happen. You had to have a credit card to rent, to reserve, and to check in California. This is stupid. But anyway, so what I wound up doing was I wound up driving back to Kingman, Arizona Sunday night. And that was exhausting. And so I went back to Kingman, Arizona, where I knew I could use a debit card. And the next day, I'm at the gas station. I'm filling up, that kind of thing, just ready to get on the road out of, no, I got a little bit out of Kingman. Anyway, coming to Tempe. So I'm on my way to Tempe. I'm going to be in Tempe again. At the gas station where I'm kind of getting things ready, I slip. Like it's like some freak accident slip. I busted my hand. I don't know if you can see, this light is not very good, but it's still black and blue. And my wrist was swollen all day yesterday. And I thought, no way, I'm coming back to Tempe with a sprained wrist. You gotta be freaking kidding me. And so it's like clearing the karma of the past, that there were other things I needed to clear in Tempe, because being in Tempe was not a good experience for me in any way, shape, or form. Not the 4 months I was in Tempe last year. When I was in Tempe in October of 2018, that was amazing. That was beautiful. But no, not last year. And so it was just like, of all, like, it's not my wrist, like, it's not my other wrist, it's not my ankle, I didn't hurt my knee, I didn't stub my toe, it's a sprained wrist. I was like, fuck. So anyway, so I just had to make peace with a lot of stuff and try to enjoy being in Tempe, which was really hard because I did not hear from my masculine, and that hurt. I don't know if he got my message saying that I'm telling him that I was actually in Tempe. But anyway, so I'm annoyed and pissed off and hurt. And it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go to Sedona for my birthday, which is today. And so I come up to Sedona, which I've always dreamt of coming to Sedona. It's 87 degrees. I wasn't thinking it would be this hot. So I don't have a long sleeve shirt for the hike. I don't have a hat. I go up to Bell Rock, which is one of the it's one of the places that has a vortex that you could really feel the energy. And I've always had a really hard time feeling energy like that because my energy that I project outward is so strong. It's difficult for me to feel energy coming in, although I process the information from that energy differently than most empaths do. Introverted empaths, let's say, because I'm an extrovert, right? It's funny too, because I got out of the car, my beautiful Lavamobile, and I go up to the information plaque where you park, you get out, and there's a little covered space right there. And I stood up at the information plaque and I read the information plaque, and suddenly I felt dizzy. Like I thought I was going to almost maybe fall over, which I could not catch myself if I had to, because that would hurt. So I was like, okay, so I tried going up the trail to it. I think I got halfway there. High noon, 87 degrees. I turned right around. It's like, okay, I felt the energy. I'm good. And so I checked into this room, which I splurged on. The Airbnb I had last night was beautiful. It was, I rented a whole 1-bedroom apartment last night because I was really hoping to see my DM, but that didn't happen. So today I splurged on this. I had booked this a few days ago. So I splurged on this because it's my birthday and my first time in Sedona. And because I really, really, really need to clear the karma of poverty and lack and homelessness and the way I traveled for 3 years, which was, wherever somebody would let me sleep on their couch. Sometimes people had a spare room, but that's becoming more rare nowadays. A lot of people, I won't say most people, but a lot of people now turn their spare room into Airbnb rooms because they need to make extra money because they aren't making enough money to actually support themselves or their family, etc. So if I were starting this 3-year trek now, I'd be in deep trouble trying to find places to stay. And, it's not about, well, you could have pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. It's like, no, my boots were stolen from me. There was no pulling myself up from bootstraps that I just didn't have. And this whole thing was about clearing lots of pain. And there's so much more pain to clear that I know theoretically, but I had a reading done a couple days ago, and there's a lot more pain, very specific pain that I need to clear. A friend of mine did a past life reading, and she asked for the past life that needed the most healing right now in terms of where I am in my journey and what I'm doing on soul mission. And it turns out that this was a past life where I was a black woman, a slave in the early 1800s in the South. And this woman was horribly abused by men. Yeah, that sounds familiar. But there was one man who treated her well. And it's interesting that this reader said this. The way she phrased it was, part of what needs to be healed for her is the idea of this healing around abusive men and not feeling free to find love. And she took care of a lot of kids that weren't hers, and she resented that, which maybe is why I don't like kids. I mean, I love my daughter, you know. But anyway, so it was just really interesting. A lot of the traits that she talked about, and this woman, and this reader, I've only known her for like a month or so she doesn't know all of my history. She doesn't know all my background, you know, of this lifetime. So it was very interesting that a lot of the traits that this woman had as a slave, of, you know, being hurt by men, not what did she say? She said, when you heal this trauma, these several layers of trauma that this woman or that my soul experienced as she incarnated as this woman, this slave in the early 1800s, she said that my journey will be easier and better because I will have cleared that from the timelines. I will be able to heal that from the timeline. She said, and you'll be able to, this is what I thought was interesting. She said, and then you'll be able to attract more men of integrity to your work. Because if you've ever seen some of my posts where I show what men say to me in messages or comments on Instagram and Twitter especially, but Instagram's the worst. The things men say. I chose to unfriend a person today because I had taken a picture of me in front of Bell Rock here in Sedona, and I posted it on my Facebook, and this guy who's a friend of mine on Facebook, he said, "Sunburnt tits, happy birthday." I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck can you say that? You know, I don't even know you very well. I damn sure wouldn't accept that from a man that I know. But it was just like, ding, 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 ding. Here you go. Is that because of my work as someone who is pro-sex and, you know, very, very pro-foreskin, pro-penis, pro-vagina, you know, pro-beautiful sex and wonderful sex and pro-orgasm and all that jazz, you know, a lot of men contact me thinking, and they treat me like I'm a webcam girl or a prostitute. And I've already done a whole show on healing my prostitute, inner prostitute archetype. You can watch that. But I was just like, seriously. So it just goes to show that, you know, that there's still a lot of healing to be done in terms of being able to draw the men to my work, the men who understand and appreciate my work, and the men who want to heal their own karma, heal their own traumas. You know, there are literally only a handful of men that I've worked with that I can say, you know, meet that. You know, there are a lot of men who want sessions with me, but they think it, like one guy said, well, are you going to be nude? I'm like, no, that's not what this is. So Anyway, there was a lot of karma to be dealt with on this trip. The readings that I've gotten lately, a lot of karma, a lot of healing that I've been doing, and I can only imagine that my masculine is doing the same. I haven't heard from him since September 3rd, so I'm a little annoyed, but the twin flame journey is no freaking joke, and I think it's actually going to get harder before the end of the year. So anyone who's kind of on this twin flame, twin soul journey, and you're wondering about your divine masculine, because only divine feminines worry, you know, divine masculines, I don't think they're clued in yet. So, but if you are, great. But this is a very difficult time right now. And I think Saturn is going direct. Mercury, though, is about to go retrograde. Full moon is in 2 days, and we just had a really intense new moon, and this is going to be a very intense full moon. And it's just, this is a huge time for healing. And if you don't pay attention to the Schumann's resonance, I highly encourage you to do that. My dreams have been just wild lately. Lots of information, lots of you know, which is crazy for me, because I even dreamt about my DM like yesterday morning. Yesterday morning. Like he was the last dream I had. I had about 8 dreams. I dream a lot. And so anyway, okay, well, I don't see anything in the chat, so I don't have any questions to respond to. I see a few people still watching, so I'm grateful that you're hanging in there. Maybe next time I will be able to figure out how to turn the camera around. I do not like doing videos like this in this portrait orientation, but again, this is the first video with this new phone. So so if anybody has any questions really quickly. Hello, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, how are you doing? Well, Daniel, you know, I am always open if you want more sessions. There's always more healing to be done, and the only person who can do that healing is you. You know, you have to do that for yourself. I am simply a facilitator to give you the tools and to help you along and to be your cheerleader and your support system in that. But ultimately, the choice for change and healing comes from you. And I do hope that you will continue down that path. It's just that, you know, right now is really intense. So maybe right now is not the time for you to continue on. You know, maybe January will be a better time for you. Like I said, the rest of this year is going to be nuts and intense. And so who knows, maybe in a month you'll contact me and you'll want a session, and I will say, that'll be great. Okay, so the door is always open on my end. And so if you want a session, just let me know. So anybody else? Anybody else? Because I don't know if my phone's about to die. So anyway, okay, I don't see anybody else. I greatly appreciate the thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that y'all are watching and listening. And you know, what I do as a healer does not come from theory. It comes from, I've lived it, I've experienced it, and I've healed. And that's what I bring to the table in my work. And now things are amazing. I have so many opportunities coming at me. I actually, you know, I have to work to schedule them all. It's amazing. In fact, I've been asked to bring my show, Sacred Sex with Trish, to a whole new platform. And I will have information on that very soon. I hope to be able to simultaneously live stream here to my YouTube, but we'll work out all the details. But I mean, like right now, my life is amazing. I love my life. You know, it's really incredible when you decide you want to heal and you want to go through the hard shit. You don't get out of this life without dealing with the shit. And you have to. If you truly want to heal, you truly want to move forward. And that's what this trip was really about. I thought this trip was going to be mainly about, okay, well, I'm going to get my music gear. I did. And then, you know, see my DM again. I didn't. But what wound up happening was that I healed a lot of the lingering pain around Los Angeles and Tempe. I had a lot of great moments in Los Angeles. I really did. And I had one really great moment in Tempe. All the others, not so much. But you do not move forward with your life by bypassing the pain. The pain has to be healed if you want true happiness, if you want financial abundance, if you want to live a life without the burden of all this mind candy and other people's ideas of how you should be living your life. That's what my modality, Tantric Fire Magic, is all about. Love, sex, and money alchemy. Beyond transformation toward transcendence. And you know, I've been testing it on a few people, and they've already, like, I got an amazing testimonial, and I didn't even ask for it after one session. And this guy he was like, oh my God, you cleared so much. He's like, well, I facilitated. You have to be open to the healing. You have to be open to the receiving. And some people just aren't in that place yet, and that's okay. This is your journey. You get to do it however you want to do it. But at the end of the day, it becomes about, how long do you want to stay in pain? How long do you want to stay poor? How long do you want to feel unloved? How long do you want to not have acceptance or self-worth, or, you know, all these things? Because all of these things start with healing the past, healing the pain, releasing the past, releasing the pain, so you can heal. And then really stepping into and aligning with everything that is good and right and wonderful for you, because life actually is supposed to be easy. Believe it or not. And I never thought that, but that is the truth. Life is supposed to be beautiful and wonderful and effervescent and abundant and just filled with love. And I've had some major karma from this lifetime and obviously past lives that I've had to clear, and obviously still clearing. You know, as more past lives come forward, I have to sit with the pain that those women, usually I incarnate usually as a woman, I have to sit with the pain and the trauma that they experienced and then clear it. And when I do that, it not only helps heal them, it helps heal me. And I reach another level of success, another level of happiness, another level of joy, another level of abundance. And so you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to let go of the pain and not fall into that staying with the devil that you know. Your pain is the devil that you know. And if you can take that leap of faith into the unknown, then that's where you get to create your life, however you want it to be. Because you're creating the life for yourself right now. It's just that you're creating a life based on other people's rules. And you're creating a life based around your pain and how not to feel the pain. Well, when you heal the pain, you release the pain and heal the pain, then you're able to move forward. But you'll never move forward as long as you're bypassing. So no one asked for that information. But so I'm going to go because I don't see anything else in the comments. And I am very, very grateful. And I will try to figure out my phone for next time. I don't like the videos like this. So y'all take care. And of course, only love is real. Everything else is an illusion. Everything else is everything that isn't love isn't you. So just remember, only love is real. I love y'all. Y'all take care. Now let's see if I can do this. Bye.